Today, we're talking about how to use AI to develop your 10 million plus content strategy, giving you the step-by-step prompts and exercises that only take minutes to implement. This AI content approach is a large part of what our team uses for content strategy when helping our 8-figure client partners scale to 9 figures and beyond, has been a big part in us generating over 5 billion views and 24 million followers and subscribers in the last 2 years for our clients. This is for founders and teams of 8 to 10 figure brands looking to systemize and scale organic content using AI. By the way, I'm Logan Forsyth, founder and co-CEO of Media Scaling, where we scale 8 to 10 figure consumer brands and personal brands to generate 5 million to 100 million plus views per month with performance-based pricing and guaranteed results. And this stuff is all that I do. So we're going to use ChatGPT to build your entire content engine, from audience clarity to content pillars to viral hooks, backed by real research. I've been using ChatGPT and other AI tools since they became big in 2022, and up until about 4 to 6 months ago, it would give me good stuff that was a good starting point, but it was only about 50% of the way there, and everything still needed a lot of tweaking and finalizing. Now, it's a completely different story, and when you follow this step-by-step process we're about to go through, everything ChatGPT gives me is now 90% there, and usually I can get it finalized by giving it more context and added prompts without even having to tweak it myself. All right, so step one is you want to set up your AI company brain. Essentially, you want to move ChatGPT to the top of your organization chart. And I'm only half kidding about that. It's like ChatGPT and AI has become another executive in our company with how we're using it and embedding it in all of our processes. And really, the quality of results that you get from ChatGPT or using any other AI learning model is the context that you give it and really what you feed it for your prompt. You need to overly give it context so it knows everything about you and your business and the goal of what you're trying to accomplish with the prompt that you're giving it. And then if it doesn't get there on the first answer, continue to feed it more context, and it will get to where you want it to go. And it's largely like training a new employee. You train ChatGPT or you train one of these learning models a lot about who you are and your business and a lot of the context that you feed it up front. And that is now memory that it has to where it will use and pull from on future prompts and future questions that you ask it. This is largely heavier upfront build. And once you have it in place, it becomes much more streamlined. And then obviously you want to continue to feed it more context as you go on. And what you want to do to keep things organized is create inside of ChatGPT or one of the other learning models a project. It's kind of like a folder, and you can see there's like a sub brain within ChatGPT. And the project, you can title it either brand or content. For the purposes of this, I'll just use the example that we title it content. Why you want to do this is because it creates a sub brain about just your content strategy, and it allows you to stay organized as well. So every time that you want to use ChatGPT when it comes to your content or maybe your brand, you go to this project folder instead of using the overall tool, and it's going to feed you better and more organized information. Again, up front, you want to feed it everything. You want to feed ChatGPT. Feed it the copy on your website and your marketing funnels and your marketing material. Feed it transcripts from sales calls. Feed it your sales scripts. Feed it content that you've created and transcripts from videos that you've put. Tell it your revenue, tell it your profit. It's going to quickly learn your business better than you know your business, even if you're the founder. Once you've gone through this process and you've fed it everything about you and your business, you now have your AI brain. And for the purposes of this video, we're going to use it for content, but now this becomes a tool for the rest of your business as well. We're starting to use AI as a brainstorming tool, a collaboration tool, and a mentor for every division and system and question that comes up throughout the entire business, to where we even set up a rule now inside of the company. Before someone asks a manager or a team member a question, they have to ask it to ChatGPT first. There are so many ways that you can use this and benefit from it outside of just for content purposes, which we're going to be breaking down moving forward. Again, I'm only half joking, but look at it as you're adding ChatGPT as an executive in the company and really the company brain that everyone is going to for questions before they're going to you and your team. This removes constraints because now people become much more self-efficient and much more resourceful by asking ChatGPT questions and getting getting the answers and learning how to prompt and really use ChatGPT versus needing to go to you for answers, and then you're busy and you'll get back to them for 4 hours. And that's just a 4 hour unnecessary constraint that's created in your business times 1,000 with all the questions that come up over the course of days and weeks and months. And once we have the AI brain, step 2 of what we want to do is identify your super consumer. If you're watching this, you're probably familiar with the concept of an ICP, which stands for ideal client profile or ideal customer profile. And basically, that's just your ideal client or customer. However, I find that the lines still get a little blurred with this, and there is a spectrum or a range that's created of the ICP, and you can kind of tier it of like an ICP 1 versus ICP 2 of who's better and who's not. And the super consumer is a concept that I learned from Charles Gaudet that creates just a lot more clarity of who is that perfect top level super consumer or client for your business. Identifying your super consumer will give you ultimate clarity in your content strategy, because this is who you want to attract in your business. From all the marketing that you create, the copy on your website, the content that you're putting out, you want to have your super consumer in mind and be speaking to them. And what's amazing is now that we created your AI brain, I have a prompt to share with you that will give you your super consumer in seconds and give you more clarity on it that's better than you or any team member could do, even if you've been building your business for many, many years. If you're listening to this video, we're gonna show visually on screen the prompt being typed out. And so make sure to watch it and just do this, and you'll be shocked at the results that it produces. So next step, go to ChatGPT and ask it this prompt. Task, develop a comprehensive profile or a hypothetical super consumer of your type of company, specializing in specific result for client type. This super consumer generates approximately X amount in annual revenue and targets consumers willing to invest at least X dollars per month for blank service over a minimum duration of X years, with an expected NPS score of at least 9. Super consumer profile requirements, industry and company size, provide specifics about the industry and the size of the companies that the super consumer represents. Job title and role, detail the job titles and roles that typically influence purchasing decisions in these companies. Pain points, describe the specific challenges and needs that the super consumer faces, which the blank service can provide. Goals and objectives. Outline the main goals and objectives that the super consumer aims to achieve through the blank service. Service details. Summarize the key aspects of the blank service that would attract this super consumer based on their profile characteristics. Objective, ensure that your profile is original and creative, aligning closely with the company's target audience and strategic goals. Highlight why the blank service is uniquely positioned to benefit the super consumer. Again, you will likely be shocked of how good this is. And even if you spent a lot of time and energy putting together a client or customer profile for your business, this will probably give you more clarity and more definitiveness on specifics that help you with your marketing and your content strategy. A big part of why you want to identify your super consumer is us speaking on how does organic targeting work these days. You see, every single time you post an organic piece of content, this applies to short form and long form video. Short form is the vertical video you see on YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram Reels, usually 3 minutes or less. Long form video is the horizontal format video, generally popularized by YouTube. Let's call it 10 minutes or more. Regardless of the video format, every single time that you post short form or long form content, so let's just call this a video here, majority of the reach, 50% plus, goes to non-followers. And so let's say that this highlighted portion is all non-follower reach. And not only are they non-followers, but it is targeted based on interest. Every platform has become a For You page rather than a following feed. We're no longer living in the world to where all of your feed is just people who you follow, and we're constantly being served suggested content based on our interest. So the reason I bring this up is because the algorithm has gotten so scary good at serving the right niche content to the right niche people. And when you are very clear about who you're speaking to in your content, and you're even calling them out and you're including them in captions and keywords, the algorithm across platforms is smart enough to serve your content to those people as non-followers because of the fact that you are talking to them specifically. And so naturally, once we're very clear of who is our super consumer and we start creating content speaking to them, our content is served to the super consumer, which is the goal of driving results for your business. Quick note, if you are an 8 to 10 figure consumer brand or personal brand and you want us to generate you an additional 5 million to 100 million plus views per month with performance-based pricing and guaranteed results, this is what my award-winning agency Media Scaling does. To learn more and apply to work with us, go check out mediascaling.com. And now let's get back to the video. Okay, and now step number 3 is we want to develop your brand identity. Developing your brand identity allows you to really establish and get more clarity of your brand's voice, values, beliefs, what you stand for, who you're speaking to. And if you are an 8 to 10 figure brand, probably already done this and developed a really comprehensive brand identity, but I assume that you just got some points of clarity from identifying your super consumer with a prompt that was provided. And now that creates opportunity to update your brand identity with that super consumer and the new details in mind. Once you have your brand identity, this really becomes the Bible for you and your team of the content that you're creating, the editing, what's going out, and overall gives a lot of clarity as you're guiding light of the entire brand strategy on socials. We have a brand identity worksheet that we complete for all of our 8 to 10 figure client partners during the onboarding process. And it's going over questions such as, what does your brand stand for? Why does it exist? And what's the positive impact that you're looking to create? Who are you speaking to? What are the characteristics and adjectives that define your brand? What are the values behind your brand? Who is the person that you're speaking to? What are their desires and beliefs? And what are their pain points and biggest frustrations? Who is the common enemy standing between the way of you and your customers and their desired goals? What I recommend is taking our brand identity worksheet and then just copying it over, plugging it into ChatGPT, and it'll fill out all the information for you. You can get our brand identity worksheet completely for free by going to mediascaling.com/brand. The link will show on screen, and we also have it in the description below. Grab that sheet, copy it, paste it into ChatGPT, and within seconds, it'll give you a very clearly defined brand identity that also is relating to the super consumer that you just created. If you already have existing brand guideline and brand identity materials, cross-reference them and put them together. You can even upload your existing brand assets into ChatGPT, letting them know to take it into account and to kind of merge it with the new information. And you will come up with an updated, really killer game plan that you can take to socials and start dominating on growth with attracting a lot of your super consumers. Now, step number 4 is we want to create your scroll stopping content strategy in seconds. Now that we've developed your AI company brain, we've gotten very specific on your super consumer, we have a clear brand identity for you. The next step is to develop your content strategy with this easy prompt that I'm going to read and show on screen now. Inside of your content project in ChatGPT, give it this prompt. You are the world's top social media and brand expert with experience scaling many of the world's largest. And then if you're a founder brand, you would put founder personal brands. If you are a consumer brand, you would put your industry consumer brands to tens of millions of followers and subscribers across all social media platforms with billions in online sales generated. Give me the content strategy and all the topics I should speak on in my content for my either personal brand or consumer brand that is going to attract our super consumer while also putting my brand in the best spot to maximize reach, audience growth, and conversions. And then watch what happens because ChatGPT is going to give you genius here. And again, you don't have to take everything that ChatGPT gives you as gospel. It will likely be 90% of the way there. And if there are things that don't fully resonate with you or don't fully align with what you're looking for, instead of just fixing it yourself, feed ChatGPT more prompts. You want to continue prompting it and continue training it and giving it the context of, hey, this part doesn't fully resonate. I want to also speak on this topic to our clients. This detail matters. And this will be a much more efficient process of one, making sure that ChatGPT is continuing to get trained up of your brand and what you're looking for. But two, instead of you going in and trying to think and fixing it yourself, ChatGPT can fix it much faster for you just with more updated prompting that goes into it. Another reason of why this is so powerful is because it does help you to create a bigger brand when you are not bucketed into just one specific topic. My business is social media growth, but if I only talk about social media growth in every video and every short form piece of content that I put out, it's going to create some level of audience and brand fatigue because every single video I'm only talking about this one topic. And so what this prompt allows you to do is, if we zoom back out to this, let's assume that this circle we created here is the demographic for social media. Well, there's a much bigger pie that can be created to where social media can just be a piece of it. And then you also have a piece here and here and here and here. And all of these different categories should still resonate and be relatable and be valuable to your super consumer. But it allows you to hit different pockets of people when you have a diverse set of topics for your brand and a diverse set of content strategies that all still, again, match your brand identity and speak directly to your super consumer. So for me, on top of just social media growth, I talk about business strategy in general, sales and marketing, leadership, recruitment. Also, I'm married and my wife and I build businesses together. So we talk about those dynamics, talk about travel, talk about things that are passionate to me because that's a personal brand side. And again, a lot of it is still relatable to our super consumer. Where you go wrong is when you start creating content that is not relatable or that is not valuable to your super consumer, because what that is going to do is attract a different audience that you don't want. And it's also going to detract your super consumer from wanting to watch more of your content if you're going too broad and you're getting out of the zone with what they want to see too often. Now, a last important note of going more broad in terms of having different topics you're speaking on, this is more important and relatable with short form content than it is with long form content. With short form content, you have a much higher frequency of posts, and so you can speak on a lot more different topics, because if you're posting, let's say 2 videos a day or 4 videos a day, you can go broader, versus long form content has a much lower frequency of posts. And so you get less at bats and there's less material for your viewers and for your audience to go through. And it's also a much bigger time commitment per long form video that they see from you. And so with the long form content, you do want to be more niche and zoned in of your true areas of expertise. So with my long form content, majority of the videos are going to be focused on social media strategy and brand growth. I'm not going broad and talking about all these different topics in my long form. However, the short form, which is more top of funnel awareness and brand building, I can go broad with more topics because we're putting a much higher level of volume of posting out there with at least 2 new videos going out every single day. All right, and now step number 5 is we want to create endless hypnotizing hooks for your videos. Now that you have all the different content topics and strategies for your brand, you can then use ChatGPT to create an endless amount of hypnotizing hooks, video ideas, video scripts, and outlines that's going to skyrocket your growth and attract more of your super consumer. Let's say that this is an overall topic. Now you can have ChatGPT spit out all these different video ideas and hooks that still relate to this topic, but are going to do a good job of really grabbing your audience's attention. And when I say audience, I mean your super consumer. So in the same project thread in ChatGPT, next ask it to give you 20 scroll stopping hooks that are immediately going to grab the attention of your super consumer and make them have to watch the entire video for each one of the content topics that it gave you. Not every one of these may fully resonate and be usable, but a large portion of them will. And you now have this entire AI brain to give you endless amounts of content hooks and strategies for your brand that are going to do a great job attracting the people who you want to attract in your content. And once you start this process, now is the last step 6, is you want to validate the hooks in the content strategy with proven data. Again, we're not in the era yet to where we can take everything given to us by AI as gospel and truth, and that's going to work perfectly. And so we still should validate. And the best way to validate the data and the content strategy, the hooks that it's giving us, is by doing a lot of market research ourselves. The best 2 tools to use for this are TikTok search and viewstats.com. I have an entire training video showing how we use these tools to come up with viral content ideas in any industry or niche in seconds. sequence. You can see it on screen here to go check that out. And all it takes is for you to schedule out 4 hours, sit down with a cup of coffee, and go in and really just research and start typing some of these different hooks and content topics into TikTok search and viewstats.com. They're going to show you the top performing content for those keywords because these are the best search engine tools to use for video content. And then look and see what has actually worked the best. Look at the video hooks that have been used that's gotten the most views and engagement. Look at the types of content, the overall strategy. You're going to see a lot of the same names start popping up again and again. You can go to their socials and really study what's worked the best for them. And this is going to give you a university degree and a great education of what's working the best in your space. And that experience and that knowledge is going to give you a better intuition when you're using ChatGPT of what's going to resonate and what's not, and allows you to overall pioneer a much better content strategy for yourself and your brand. Actioning this out truly gives you one of the biggest assets and competitive edges for your brand and business in 2025. And it is very fast to do with these prompts. The information is fed to you in seconds. It's also something that is more of an upfront build out. And once ChatGPT has been trained on all the context of your business, it becomes an incredible tool ongoing that can put you on a fast track to scale to 10 million and beyond, like many of our client partners have. Also, it really helps the channel if you hit that subscribe button as well, and it'll help you stay looped in for more weekly training videos coming out on how to scale your brand and scale your socials, like this one, really focused in to scale past that 10 million per year mark and above. Until then, keep building, keep innovating, and keep disrupting, and I'll see you in the next video.